also have with us Ms. Simran Gupta. Ms. Simran Gupta is an educational professional currently serving as the program director at Hive School and educational consultant with the Green Foundation in Delhi. She holds a postgraduate in sociology from the Delhi School of Economics and has led impactful social campaigns, including projects promoting waste segregation in Haryana. Ms. Simran is dedicated to integrated societal development, mentoring teams, and creating platforms for changemakers. Her experience spans advocacy, concept note preparation, and operational leadership in both NGO and educational sectors, with a passion for fieldwork, empowering women and communities. Let's give them a warm round of applause.
And now, to take us right into the heart of today's conversation, I invite our talk show hosts, Pratham and Shreya. Let us welcome them with a huge round of applause as they steer today's CEO talk.
So, what inspired the initial vision for your startup, and how did you set priorities between having an impact and achieving profitability?
Alright. Hi everybody. First of all, good afternoon everyone. And I hope इन लोगों ने धक्के से नहीं बैठाया आप लोगों को. You guys are pretty much happy here. So the question, let me repeat also, like, so that you guys are also on the same page. So he asked what inspired me specifically, then I'll shift it to Nikhil. So what inspired me to start my own venture? So it started, like, let me take you to the historical part where I was 17. I came to Delhi for my graduation. Just to tell you, I could not end up in Shahid Sukhdev. I ended up in Shahid Bhagat Singh. So I was first year student, had a lot of passion towards teaching. So in that same year, an academy got launched, okay, at a bigger scale. And in the first year itself, I got selected as one of the initial teachers there. I used to teach CA students, CA foundation students at that particular point of time. So my passion for teaching started from there. So it's been almost 10 years now that I have been teaching, and it has been a journey kind of where I did not have any elder brother or sister. वो होता है ना कोई बड़ा भाई जो बता सके कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. I did not have that. And the worst part about not having an elder brother or sister is that आपको बहुत hits and trials करने पड़ते हैं. And hits and trials का सबसे worst part होता है you end up wasting a lot of time. And मेरे साथ भी वही हुआ, wasted a lot of time hits and trials की, but I figured out somehow, बहुत मेहनत की, figured out. But later, क्योंकि education, Unacademy, Byju's, Vedantu, Topper, I have taught everywhere. But somewhere inside me एक factor था कि मुझे वो बड़ा भाई या बहन नहीं मिले, but I can be that बड़ा भाई for some people at least. After my graduation, worked with KPMG, multiple investment banking firms, worked in private equity, and recently worked with CVC as well. So I have worked in that space. So I combined that passion for teaching as well as my core finance experience into a concept called Super 15. So what inspired me was a feeling which I felt in the college that I did not have anyone who is there to guide me. So that inspired me to start something for others so that I can be that bada bhai. And so that was the mission, the inspiration behind Futurus. Let's hear from Nikhil, like what was there for high school.
Awesome. Okay. Hi guys, what's up? What's happening? Good afternoon to all of you now. What's up? Hi. Awesome. How many of you have heard of Hive School before? Just doing a quick market research. Not a lot of you. I think we need to do better with our marketing. Awesome. So, if I have to tell you about Hive School, I think the entire journey started back in my second year of college. So, unlike you, even I wanted to get into SFCBS. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get into Shahid Sukhdev as well. Shahid Bhagat Singh, sorry. So, none of it. But anyway, that's when I saw a huge white space and a very deep gap. So the college that I graduated from, what I saw was that 95% people in my college were not getting placements. And even the students who used to get placed, the average CTC used to be 3 to 4 LPA. So there was a very deep gap, and I thought, okay, let's maybe try to create a community, and let's maybe try to start an entire startup wherein we try to help people to get jobs. That was back in my second year when I was, I think, 18 or 19. So my college canteen became my first office. And I started this venture with my best friend back then. We did this for good 1.5 or 2 years. It didn't really work out well. That's when COVID hit. We had to shut it down. Now, when I was shutting down my first venture, which was Teenage India, I decided that now when I start something next, I will only build a college. It was very aspirational back then, 19-year-old, hey, how will you build a college? Like, that's so aspirational. I went this plan to my dad, and he was like, you study for that and do an MBA. Like, chance in here, why do you want to start a college? So I got into founder's office at 2 different edtech companies, worked there for good 3 years, built it for other founders, and that's when I did my MBA from a college named Masters Union School of Business, which is in Gurugram. Did my MBA from there. Parallelly, I started working on my idea. Okay, let's maybe try to build something here in the higher education landscape now. And I figured out multiple problems. There was a problem in coding, there was a problem in finance, product, tech, HR, sales. But interestingly, in all the former problems, there were solutions that existed. There is an MBA for marketing, there is an MBA for finance, there is an MBA for HR, there is an MBA for tech, but there is no MBA for sales. Like, people still confuse it within marketing and sales together, which is not true. So I saw a huge white space and I thought, okay, let's maybe start India's first sales B school. Now the idea sounded good. And that's when I went back. Okay, 19-year-old Nikhil saying that, hey, I'll build a college one day, is when I decided, let's launch a B school. And let's launch a B school purely for sales. That's when we started off. We brought in a few online cohorts initially, got them graduated, got them placed. The placements actually went up to 14.5 LPA being the average after an entire year being concluded. The highest went up to 30 LPA. We started performing better than a lot of Tier 2 MBAs. That was just in the first year, with just 3 online cohorts graduated. And then we thought, okay, let's now start an offline PGP and let's start an entire offline MBA. That's when we got up a campus in Gurugram, set up an entire campus, set up an entire B school. And that's where Shark Tank happened. The initial analogy that we see, wherein the Shark Tank tune was ran. So then we got into Shark Tank the season 4, we got good traction on the brand. And yeah, that's been the entire story of how, right from setting up an office in my college canteen to now maybe running up an entire B school. With a lot of humility, obviously. The entire journey basically ran through. And now I think by 2030 there is a new manifestation, which is, hey, we want to be India's best B school for sales, and we want to be in those top 20 or top 30 B schools of India before we end up 2030. So that was the entire journey, slightly surprised here. So yeah, that's all. Take it up.
Okay, guys, just on one note, I think you have your 2 founders here who's going to give you a lot of gyan. I'm not going to do that. I'll just tell you in one line who I am. All the people who are using your phone, don't do that. Don't do it. I had a quick scan in it, and that's who I am in high school. We are new age principal. Don't do that. If you're here, try to just listen up. Hearing you're anyway doing in the entire day, don't do it. I used to be one of you when I used to be in the Delhi School of Economics. Sit here and to listen to the people who used to come up. I manifested to sit here one day. I'm here. You have to choose where you want to be. So stop using that. Please use the platform that your folks have given. And another piece, why am I doing what am I doing? Because I have been through and through a product of Delhi University, and I'm super proud of it. Any one of you who feels that you're craving, that you're still in DU, wanted to be somewhere else, I'm sorry, you're wrong. There's so much more that you can do. New age schools, new age ideas, new age companies all get born here. So that's what I'm trying to do. I learned something, I'm trying to unlearn, and building high school together. Teamwork, you have a very beautiful display in your, porch area, which grabbed my attention. You guys have displayed ants to showcase teamwork. How many of you do you know that ants are the biggest symbol to showcase teamwork? Can I have some raise of hands to just check that the crowd is not dead? Can I have some raise of hands? How many do you know that ants are the biggest symbol of teamwork? Alright, some of the sleepy hands, thank you so much. I hope that you get to have a little lunch after this. I'm sorry for this, I'm like this. And just saying, What we are doing at Hive School, it's a team of 3 co-founders and 1 co-founding team member. That's what teamwork gets to you. If you're thinking to build something together, do it. It will happen. Just that. Thank you. Don't use phones.
First of all, after listening to your answer specifically, there's a college canteen in our college as well. The best dosa you can ever have. You three are all invited.
How many of your buildings started from that college canteen? That has to be your
I am doing my professional exam preparation from there only. Yes. So, and adding on to what ma'am said, like balancing viability and the vision of having a startup starts from this age only. And listening to all of you, it was a jolly thing to do. And moving forward with the next question.
So, in your experience, is it possible for startups to drive meaningful change without compromising on financial growth?
See, I come from a Marwadi family, so like profits, paisa, and all of this comes in my blood. So growth के साथ तो compromise हो ही नहीं सकता था. But I also come from educational background, so career या value addition के साथ भी नहीं हो सकता था. So I combined the both, and I feel like if you have the right mindset and आपकी नीयत साफ है, you can combine both. अगर नीयत में इधर उधर हुआ तो ग्रोथ हो जाएगी, वैल्यू एडिशन विल टेक अ बैक सीट. बट अगर नीयत साफ है लेकिन प्रॉफिट बनाना नहीं आता, बिजनेस करना नहीं आता, देन यू विल एंड अप compromising on the growth part. So I made sure that while adding value in each of the students' life, I made sure कि ना profitability खराब हो and ना growth. So that's why, like, even when I was talking about Super 15, right? So I took only 15 students from India. कि 15 बच्चे लूँगा, मुझे 100 बच्चे नहीं पढ़ाने, मुझे 100 बच्चों को ट्रेन नहीं करना है इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग या प्राइवेट इक्विटी के लिए. मुझे 15 बच्चे चाहिए इंडिया से. Just to tell you guys, out of all those 15, 3 are from your college currently. ठीक है. So I'm happy that the talent is coming from your college as well. So it's always good to see. My younger brother graduated last year from your college. So it always feels that great to hear about or to be there in the campus. So coming back to the question, yes, so I maintain that exclusivity part कि 15 बच्चे value addition एक को जो time चाहिए, let's give them. Making sure they do not go out somewhere and be like guide कर दो. They should feel that fulfilled feeling of real mentorship while making sure that operationally I never face any problem in terms of my profitability. Banker आदमी हो यार, profits के साथ compromise नहीं. ठीक है. So that has been my criteria of dealing with value addition as well as maintaining the growth part for my company.
I think very good answer here. I'll just give you some perspective to maybe how I look at profitability versus scale versus quality. I think it has to be a balance of all three. In a fashion that you as a founder, let's say if you're starting off something, you are also sustained in a fashion that you are able to manage your personal finances. Because ultimately you need to draw back something at your place because you also have to run your houses at the end of the day. Typically, I think when I was starting up, I had a student loan because I did a very expensive MBA. So I had a student loan to repay almost 20-25 lakh. But since I was also starting up, it was into education, I also had to make sure that whatever people I graduate out of my B school, they have to be quality. So I could also not increase volumes to increase my revenue. But then the idea was very simple that let's say in the initial 1 year or 2 years, even if in case I have to compromise on revenue by optimizing on my quality, that's there. But if in case my quality shows up, then it will give me a potential to scale my revenue at some point of time. So the vision was to once again do only 100 students in the first year. But then back of the mind, I also knew that 3 years down the line, we need to be doing at least 500 students a year. Or let's say in case we're doing 1 crore revenue in the first financial year, 5 years down the line, we have to reach to a 50 crore revenue once again on an annual basis without deviating on the quality. So scale will only come if you look if at least you think about it, let's say if you never think about how will I get to that 50 crores, you will never be able to get it because ultimately that 50 crore has to be reverse engineered. कि 50 करोड़ अगर मैं बात कर रहा हूँ तो 50 करोड़ में से मेरा average revenue per user कितना होगा? मेरे को कितने number of users चाहिए to be able to get to that 50 crore? Then that entire math is done. So, अच्छा मेरे को let's say I want to acquire 300 people at maybe a 10-15 lakh rupees ticket size for me to be able to get to a 30 or 45 crore revenue. Now, how do I do it? How do I acquire those 300 people? Is the next question to answer. So, whenever you're starting up the startup can just not be out of fluff. कि यार मेरे को पसंद है, मेरे को entrepreneur बनना है आज, so I just pick up and I start something. The probable chances to get failed is very high in that case. It has to be noted down from the first principle standpoint. Why to every single thing? Why am I starting up? Why 50 crore? Why not 10 crore? Why not 100 crore? So the whys have to be answered. Apart from that, let's say in case I'm talking about 300 people, is it even rational? Can I even do it? If yes, how much cost will they require to do it? How will I bring in that cost? Is it going to be bootstrap? Do I need some external capital? If I want to raise external capital, how do I do it? Getting into first principles, why and how of every single thing. I think this is some jam, I'm so sorry for it, but I think that's how I looked at profitability, that's how I looked at scale, I looked at growth from a rational perspective also. And then draw it, कि इसमें से मेरे को कितना पैसा draw करना है every single one. As an entrepreneur, something that just keeps you comfortable, not luxury. Okay, so luxury is something that will come 3 years, 4 years down the line. But what keeps you comfortable? Is it 50,000 a month? Is it 1 lakh a month? Is it 1.5 lakh a month? That is a question for you to answer. And then you have to draw it from your business. So the business ka paisa is not your paisa, that is business ka paisa, but the salary is your paisa. So that is a rational that you guys need to draw for yourself. So I think that's the answer for me.
Sir, first of all, ये ज्ञान नहीं था. It was actually very insightful. And our generation needs to understand that we should value quality over quantity, and we don't understand it easily. So, for the next question.
So, can you share a crucial moment in your journey which you have to decide, you have to choose that the startup's mission is important and or the business interest? And how did you manage it? How did you approach that decision?
Okay, so I think I'll just maybe give you a turning point in the business of exactly what was the turning point and the decision also. So this was so before our campus, we used to work on a Blue Tokai and Third Wave Coffee. That used to be an initial office. The initial first year of business was actually working from Blue Tokai, working from Third Wave Coffee, working from Starbucks, working from Chayos, all the cafe shops in Delhi is where we used to work, and also my place. So all of it used to, a mix of all used to be our office initially in the first year. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was sitting in Blue Tokai. My co-founder calls me and he says, Nikhil, the Shark Tank applications are here. You should apply for it. At that point, it was literally the fourth month of the business. Actually, second month of the business. And he told me, Nikhil, I think you should apply for Shark Tank. Like, very early, like, you will even not get in. Even if you get in, it's not really going to be of high value. But he forced me and he was like, it's not a request, it's a command. Do it. I go, okay, I'll do it. So then I applied for Shark Tank. And on a Sunday afternoon, once again, we got an email that hey, you got a Delhi shortlist. We went for the Delhi auditions. That was on my birthday. And after 15 days after we came back from the Delhi auditions, we got another email. And the email said, hey, you've been shortlisted for the final Bombay shoot. Like, okay, our name's getting real. So we went to Bombay, they gave the entire Shark Tank pitch. That's when we came back. And so we were not really expecting it to get aired. That okay, I don't think it will get aired, we just given it. But a handful of startups actually get aired on the national TV. But then again on a Sunday afternoon, we got another call that hey, your episode is scheduled to get aired next week. Like, okay, next week. What are you saying? अभी तो website sort नहीं है, traction sort नहीं है, we'll get traction तो वो manage कैसे करेंगे? In that 1 week, we set up all the systems, and then the episode got aired. Now, when they actually got aired, the traction that we got was an all-time high. So I'll give you some numbers also. So our average per week website visitors used to be 500. There was a weekly visitors on the website every single week. That actually went up to almost 10,000. So from 500 it went up to 10,000 and that was maintained for almost 3 months. We settled that at 5,000. So typically from 500, it was almost a 10x growth. And there was a decision that, once again, circling under the question now, which is a few key decisions that you take in the business. Shark Tank was a risk for us because we didn't know exactly how the startup will be perceived, even if we get on the national teams, because we didn't have the clarity. We're still building it because we're so early in the entire business. But that risk ultimately sounded to be more worthwhile and a good opportunity to optimize on. So I think these shorter risks and those shorter decisions that you take in your career or in your life, I think all of it just ultimately becoming worthwhile in the business as well. So this was one huge risk that we took. Ultimately ended up becoming a good success for us, at least on our business front. So that's going to be my perspective. So, that's all.
Well, I was half expecting कि एक चाय की सिप में आपका मतलब पूरा कर दिया कि इसको मैं चेंज कर देता हूँ, ऐसे कर देता हूँ. And it was lovely hearing from you, and I am just astounded by the finance 101 which you gave me about the numbers, about the cost acquisition and all. Now, moving forward to the next question.
If your entrepreneurial journey began in the 1950s, what strategies would you use to overcome the challenge of that era?
If it is 1950s, I feel my company would have better advantage at that point of time. Because to be very honest, because see, I deal with students every single day. मैं आपको बहुत हिंदी सब समझते हैं, right? Like I'm speaking too much of Hindi here, right? हिंदी सब समझते हैं, right? Can I see like some show of hands, like all those who understand Hindi? Perfect, lovely, ठीक है. So I have like थोड़ा brag कर लेता हूँ. I have close to 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I get almost 200, 250 messages every day, like for career guidance and like finance, consulting spaces they want to explore. So what I feel like, since I deal with students every single day, so एक चीज जो मुझे pattern notice हुआ, currently there is too much of information, literally too much. And पहले क्या था, 1950 specifically, let's talk about, गांधी जी ने बोला चलो चलो बात खत्म. That's it, right? So because there was very less information, only a few leaders were there, only limited sources were there, and people were like चलो. But right now it's like हर्षित ने बोला चलो, लेकिन निखिल ने बोला नहीं चलो, बात खत्म. So that creates the confusion, right? So this is something I would say I would maintain the composure and the exact leadership as my strategy if it comes to 1950s without thinking much. Because right now we are thinking too much because of the options that we have in hand, and जिसकी वजह से a lot of confusion and all of these doubts are popping up. So मेरा strategy अगर 1950s में होता तो just act normally with people because they have very limited information, but while keeping my heart clean that I have to guide them in the rightful direction. So that's it. That would have been my approach.
No, I think that interesting answer. Typically, I think, and a very honest answer here, I think if I would have been into 1950s, I would have never started up. I guess मैं business करता ही नहीं 1950 में. I'll give you a reason also. It was very close to the year that India got independent. So capitalization was still coming up. which is कि लोगों के पास पैसा आ रहा था, स्पेंड करने की पोटेंशियल आ रही थी, तो वो सही टाइम ही नहीं था टू इवन स्टार्टअप. अगर हम स्टार्टअप नहीं करते तो रिस्क ऑफ फेलियर बहुत ज़्यादा होता. Versus today, and I'll also tell you कि why this is the most ideal time for you to start up, and this is the best time for you to become an entrepreneur and make money. अगर अभी नहीं किया तो इससे गोल्डन टाइम कभी नहीं आ सकता, ना ही आपके ancestral age में था, ना ही for the next generation आएगा. Purely because it's been 70 years now, almost, from 1950 to now. It's the 75 years actually. It's the most ideal time जहाँ पे कैपिटलाइजेशन हो गया, ठीक है, जहाँ पे इंडिया के अंदर यूएस कॉन्सेप्ट्स आ रहे हैं, इंडिया में स्पेंड पोटेंशियल बढ़ गई है, यहाँ पे अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़ गई हैं, यहाँ पे पैसा बढ़ गया लोगों के ऊपर. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, आई रिमेंबर इवन 7 years back, people used to go and shop from Vishal Mega Mart and Reliance Trends. That used to be a different persona. And anyone who used to buy a Zara shirt used to be a different persona. and anyone who used to buy an H&M shirt used to be the third persona. These were three different classes altogether. Now, anyone who's buying a shirt from Vishal, Megamart or Reliance Trends potentially might also buy a similar shirt from Zara. So people have similar buying potentials. You can never really realize. अगर कोई ज़ारा से शॉपिंग कर रहा है तो वो शायद रिलायंस ट्रेंड से भी शॉपिंग कर रहा है, या फिर ऐसा कोई रिलायंस ट्रेंड से शर्ट खरीद रहा है तो वो ज़ारा से भी पोटेंशियली शर्ट खरीद सकता है. This is what capitalization has done for us. So the spending power has substantially increased, because of which today in India it's the most ideal time to start something, because it's infinite opportunity. मतलब अगर आप किसी भी स्पेस में इंडिया में स्टार्ट करते हो तो आपका बिजनेस बहुत आराम से बन जाएगा अगर आप एग्जीक्यूट अच्छे से करते हो तो. It's not the same case in US. Okay, US is very different. Other countries, for example Europe, it's very different. Starting a startup in US or Europe is going to be extremely difficult because compliance issues are a lot more. Versus India. अबे 50 साल पहले नहीं होता. 50 साल पहले पैसे नहीं थे to even buy maybe something as a luxury here. Okay, but today it's the different case scenario altogether. So I think 1950 में वो start नहीं करता, but अभी I think it's been the most ideal time for anyone to start. तो अगर अभी आप entrepreneur नहीं बने या फिर अगर आपने plunge अभी नहीं लिया तो 20 साल बाद तो कुछ चांसेस नहीं है, because मार्केट बहुत ऑर्गेनाइज और बहुत सैचुरेट होने वाली है. So this is the most ideal time to capitalize and make money is what I believe. So yeah.
So I think I agree with you, but in 1950s there was also another problem, that education was solely dependent upon rote learning, memorization and standardization of making people test through, because they were hiring a lot of government agents to run the country. We were just got free. So I think at that point to start any startup would have been a major blunder, although would have really worked for our startup in a way, because so we have a curriculum segment where you pure play learn how to make cold calls. It's a segment that we teach in our online cohorts. I would have loved people to do that because they would have remembered the script, which the new cold callers are not able to do. That would have worked with me in terms of my new idea, but this one I have to get for you, the term that you use for yourself, which is Gen Z. I would have to give it to you guys, because at that time, people were not very open to do experimentation with new age courses. To talk about something which we are doing, or for that matter, they are doing, it would have been super tough to even sell this idea to that. So I think at that point to start anything in this genre wouldn't have made sense. Maybe something else, maybe clothing, maybe textile, maybe something else would have come up, but this wouldn't have made sense. So I think I agree with Nikhil what he said, and you as well. Right. Also, I didn't say it before, I love when you said the Marwari line, because that kind of really touched my soul. And I think, yeah, that's how the popularity works with me as well. So yeah.
Well, the president and vice president of the society are also Bania, so you feel relatable. And moving forward to the, basically we are inspired by that NN show. Like in America, there's a famous show NN where they ask you yes and no questions. So, now, first of all, these placards are please. Yes. So, has there been a point in your journey where you felt like, चलो यार छोड़ दो यार मुझसे नहीं हो रहा बस थोड़ा बहुत उस एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में थोड़ा बता सकते हैं.
So it's like every morning you get up and you see people around and then you're like सो जाता हूँ यार फिर से क्या करूँगा मैं. But then वही बात है कि your inner soul says get up, but the outer body says go and sleep. And it happens, right? College आना है जो थोड़ा दूर से नोएडा, अभी मैं गुड़गांव से आया हूँ. Literally my soul left my body till I reached here. So मैं literally my founder's office associate is there and I was telling her कि जो students आते होंगे यहाँ पर उनको motivation कैसे आ रही है यहाँ पर आने के लिए. So I could relate, and similarly the outer body says रहने दे, but inner soul similarly आपके case में भी ये like पढ़ना है, कुछ करना है, we have to like get our career sorted. Similarly every single day, even founders, even if they have the best of the hunger in themselves, the outer body will definitely say रहने दे यार, छोड़ क्या इतना मेहनत कर रहा है, सुबह लगा था रात हो गई, ठीक है, but the mission the passion, the hunger, at the end will make you go on. So definitely every day it's like no and yes.
मेरा स्टूडेंट कोई आकर मुझे कहता है ना सर मेरा बेस्ट था सर ये वाला आई एम सेइंग ओके लेट्स इंक्रीज योर बेस्ट सो दैट यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग लाइक अभी और पेंडिंग है आप अपनी लिमिट्स को पुश करो सो दैट यू एवरी डे यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग लाइक कि अभी पेंडिंग है अभी बचा है एंड दैट्स वेयर ग्रेट जर्नीज बिगिन एंड ग्रेट पर्सनैलिटीज डेवलप ऑलराइट दैट वाज माय एडवाइस टू यू गाइस थैंक यू सो मच
Feels like Sandeep Maheshwari's question. But I think the only piece of giveaway to you guys are going to be, I think, start building. Nothing better than building at this age. When you build, and even if you fail, the worst that will happen is that you'll get a high-paying job at maybe a founder's office. So that's the worst that will happen. Apart from that, I think, like as Harshit also said, just work hard, but also take care of your health. So working hard along with taking care of your health is supremely important. Something I realized very late in my entrepreneurial journey. And just use your time wisely is what I'll say. Like even if you work for 9 hours, but work productively, which is, I think in India, a lot of people end up wasting time. So let's say even if you look at a gym trainer for that matter, a gym trainer is supposed to be there in the gym for those 9 hours, but he's not there in those 9 hours in that gym. So I think that's what we end up doing. Like we have coffee breaks, we have Netflix break, we have coffee, snack breaks. I cannot really say sutta breaks also, but yeah, we also have those here in offices. Those are not needed, essentially. Just try to optimize on those 8 hours that you're working. If it's those 8 hours, it's productive 8 hours that you have. And then just have some time for your body, just have some time for yourself. So just make sure that you're able to compound on every single hour that you're working on. Just optimize wherever you can, and I think things are going to be falling into your place. That's all. Thank you so much. It was fun talking to you.
One thing, initially I said to stop using your phone, a lot of you did, which I think tells me that you know how disciplined you guys are, and I'm really glad and humbled that you guys did that. I think my only takeaway from here and the giveaway that whatever you guys want to take it in a way. This is a time when new age things are happening. I used to wonder when I was of your age that would I be able to get to hear some business idea? Would I be able to get to hear some ideas which are not very mainstream? Can I do something out of the blue? I think thinking out of the box, doing something different is now the time that you've been told by two of these great people that they're speaking about their hustle. I started off late and I don't regret that. Somebody spoke about safety net. I had my safety net. It didn't bring content to me. I had to leave it. What's her name? Manthan. Trust me, I had to leave it. It didn't work out for me. I had to leave my safety net, and that's what I'm here to do. That's the only thing that I can tell from my personal journey. All I'll say is, guys, you've been very, very wonderful because if you can sit, I don't know if your society has bribed you or whatever. I mean, if you can sit through here the entire timeline when the college was going through some administrative challenge and you did not have a lot of, your very, 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 very cold vibe in here, you sat through this much of dedication you put in your startups, you're there. I would just recommend it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sis. I would now like to invite Dr. Poonam Verma, our principal, to facilitate our discussion.
It's an honor to be here, and as she rightfully said, if this was a class going on with a teacher and no ACs on, I would have got multiple messages. No AC, we can't have the class, we can't sit through it. So
that was my only takeaway. And I'm gonna take it with me. I'm gonna talk to my students about it. If this is the dedication you showed for an hour, my dear, I mean you're gonna go
it's a
big.
good beginning. So applaud to yourself. I'm sure I am going to see a lot of unicorns emerging from SSCBS. And now onwards, we will have more of students seeking to be part of this incubation center that we have, than going on the other side of the same floor and seeking a placement opportunities. So good. Listening to you for a little while. Thank you. going to preserve, and I know is going to be, you know, those guys who are making big names, right? Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. God bless you.